amazing on what we're doing here today. So we have a gentleman here, man. I just want to get a formal introduction to him on what he does. He's a man of knowledge, great knowledge. He has a BA degree and in economics and also finances. He's been doing so much. He's a graduate from UCLA doing his thing here. He's out of Marina Del Rey, Plata Del Rey, I'm sorry. He's got 32 years formally with Merrill Lynch, you know, and so many other things. I mean, they're stopping
Merrill Lynch, is that what you said? Who's that guy?
Okay, he's got so much stuff going on. I don't know how much he wanted me to say, but I just want him to know that I've done my homework and I read his bio thoroughly. So 37 million people has read it already. So formally, okay. But he's doing his own thing right now. He's a great entrepreneur. He's a great humanitarian. He does a lot for charity. So I'm going to stop right there, and then we're just going to get on with this. I just wanted everybody to know that Jeffrey Henderson always does his homework on every client that comes in here. I know where he lives, I know where he's born, I know how old he is and everything else, but we're going to save all that for a little bit later on. So without any further ado, we're going to bring to you the man of the hour. Looking at the blue camera, everybody else will get you, Mr. Rick Rozman. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Jeffrey. Just an honor and overwhelmed to be here. Heard a lot about you. I've done some homework on you too, and this is all new to me, and being in a place where there's over 30 to 40 million hits, it's overwhelming. Coming after Eric convinced me to get involved in this kind of thing, that it's the whole thing has been an incredible ride. I'm glad to be here, and I'm honored to be with you.
Man, you know what? The honor is all mine. When I read your resume, and when I seen your bio, and when I seen the videos that you've done, and I seen all the work that you work with the youth, you know, that really inspired me to have a man that goes to high schools and stuff and goes out and donates his time, mentors the young folks. That is very gratifying, because we all need somebody to look up to instead of looking up to the stars all the time, basketball players and all that. We're looking up to a man like Mr. Rozman and doing his thing for the schools. He's giving back so much to the community, and we certainly appreciate him for doing that. People can see you all over the place, man. You Google this man's name, he's everywhere. And it's just really exciting times right now. There's so much that we can talk about on this guy, on what he does, where he's been, what he's doing currently. I mean, UCLA, should I say any more? Economics and finances. You know what I mean? BA degree in that. That right there alone. Let's just start right there. Tell me how that worked out for you, sir, going through that schooling process, because we know it takes some due diligence, it takes some time and effort and some understanding on getting all those courses down just perfectly. So let's go back a little bit and talk about UCLA.
Well, first of all, it was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'm going to go back a little bit further than that. My family, I was first generation going to college. My father did not go to school. My mom did not go to school. He had a gas station. And how we got involved in the philanthropic side is my father rode the rails in the Depression, you know, and he had a heart for the homeless. The hobos used to come by his gas station when I was a kid, 5, 6 years old, and he always took care of them. And so that carried on for the rest of my life. And then when it was time to go to school, I ended up at UCLA. I was accepted to a lot of other schools, but I wanted to stay local. Greatest experience of my life, UCLA. There's many Bruins who are probably listening to this. Bruins give back. Belong to the South Bay Bruins, which is an organization in the South Bay, and we get involved in a lot in the community. And so you'll find Bruins everywhere. Not to say anything against USC, but I'm sure they're there too. But yeah, Bruins mean a lot, so it was a great experience.
You know, it was like a rivalry all the time, and it still is with USC and UCLA, and especially in sports. You know what I mean? There's so much going on with that. But anyway, let's talk about it from the intellectual side of the brain. All that knowledge, those professors, all the different professors that you had to go through and deal with. How was that experience for you, college-wise?
It was tough. Coming from a family that didn't go to school and ending up at UCLA, I was sort of a fish out of water. And for the first year, literally, I was intimidated. I felt, my God, I don't belong here. These are a lot of kids who have a lot more opportunity than we did from the side of the tracks that we did. My father owned a gas station, and many of these kids came from affluent households on the west side. However, over time, felt welcome. The grades were great, and was able to graduate and move on to a career in the financial services world, where I'm still at it with another firm besides the firm that he mentioned, which I can't mention today, and we've been at it for 33 years. But the main portion of the life after that period of time has been getting involved over the years in the nonprofit space.
That whole process and schooling process, you know, how was that for you, really? I mean, did you have a favorite professor, or did something stand out with you that will take you the rest of your life? What is something that you really learned through the college educational program?
We all have favorite professors, so I'm going to do a shout out. I think the Professor Abel is probably no longer with us. We all had to take science courses as a requirement for all of the lower division classes before we took our finance and economics major. George Abels taught physics, and he taught astronomy at UCLA. The guy was the greatest professor ever. He made it so that everybody loved it. He taught basically was dumbbell astronomy for the kids who weren't astronomy majors, and he made it such a great program that I'm sure he converted many people to major in astronomy. So that was my favorite professor. It didn't happen to be an economics professor. It was a science professor who you could tell he gave, when it comes down to a career of service, teachers have an opportunity to make a difference, and there are those, and I'm sure we can all look back in our history, whether it's grammar school, high school, or college. There are some people, some teachers that made a difference, and some that were there for a paycheck. George Abel was there to make a difference in the lives of everybody. Every kid in that class felt special. He worked with everybody, and so consequently, I think I got an A. So there you go.
Nice. How many units did you carry the first semester?
UCLA's on a quarter system, and there's 36 units you have to take in a calendar year. That's 3 quarters. I average between 12 and 16 units a quarter all the way through.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard.
Yeah, it is.
You know, that really is. That's very hard, especially at that level. You know what I mean? That's one of the highest levels in the land. UCLA, USC, university level. You know, that's why we're taking our time right now to let everybody know out there exactly what that process is, because all the people that's just even thinking about going to college right now, there's prerequisites that you have to have. You know, there's certain classes that you have to take, and there's certain classes that you don't get credit for if you take, because it won't go towards your major. You know what I mean? I've been through that college program, so I know exactly. Not at the level that you did. I did a city college, you know what I mean? Just get some basic knowledge, you know, and making sure that all the prerequisites was enough to carry me on to a university if I chose to later on. But this man here has went to, like, how many years of college did it take you to graduate?
Well, I worked almost full-time during the whole period of time, so what was normally a 4-year experience, it took me 5.5 years to get through.
Mm-hmm. But
it was a labor of love. When I finally finished, I felt that it was really an accomplishment and a great experience. When I got the degree in my hand, I said, wow, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. So now when you walked across that stage, it's 3:21 p.m., that's how we do it on the Jeffrey Henderson Show. When you walked across that stage to get that diploma, how did that make you feel?
Higher than a kite. It was, there's nothing wrong with accomplishments. There's nothing wrong with achievement. There's nothing wrong with goals and ambition. I'm sure, Jeff, with what you're doing, every single thing that you do, I'm sure you feel great all of a sudden when you achieve it. You know, 5 movies in India. Wow, I mean, who does that? And I imagine after you're done locking up the 5th one, you probably feel special. It was the same feeling of walking across the stage over at UCLA and getting that degree in your hand. You felt special, is all you could say.
Absolutely. So where is that placed on? In your business or at your home?
I've got it on the mantle. I got it framed on the mantle at home. So that's where it's at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great accomplishment, man. That's why I'm taking my time with this interview, because we have a lot of time here. And so I'm just taking my time. I'm building something here, essentially, to get to the good stuff. You know, but there's a foundation. I want you guys to know, you know, it takes something to be where you at today. It's educational. If you're in business, it's business, or whatever field or profession that you in. It takes something to get there. You just don't jump there overnight and achieve everything that you want to achieve. So there's some sense of hard work that you have to do to get there. There's some sense of dedication, motivation to succeed. I know there was times, Rick, there was times you didn't even want to get up and go to college.
Amen. I worked the graveyard shift at a grocery store, 10 at night to 6 in the morning. 4 or 5 nights a week, and then I go up to school for my first class at 9 o'clock. And yeah, I smelled like a grocery store, and it was. And here I'm with kids who didn't have to work, and so it was overwhelming. And but you know what, the goal and the dream was there, and I'm sort of somebody like a bulldog. And once I have my teeth set into something, and I look at the goal and the dream, very similar. I mean, your life is one of accomplishment. I'm sure you can identify with that. When you got the goal and the dream, yeah, there's pain, and there's times when you don't want to go, but you get it done. And that's what builds character, is that you just get it done. And like Yoda said in Star Wars, he said, there's do or don't do. And we make the decision to do.
So if you had to go back in time